Hey guys, this is Arnav from Coding Blocks, and today I'm going to be exposing a scam that I ran myself. It was a social experiment that I ran, and this thumbnail that you can see, this video, I think a lot of you guys have seen this, maybe more than once, because the numbers say so. It has got 135,000, 1.35 lakh views in less than a month. It's going to be a month in a couple of days, right? For this video to be produced. And in generally, like when we make videos on the Coding Blocks channel, it takes us like 8 to 10 months for some of the good videos to get to 100,000 views. And most of the videos which have gone to 100,000 views have taken like a year or so to get there, right? And that's for like good content, good videos, and like the content is good, and as well as people want to see it. Okay. Now I made this video, of course, and I just wanted to show how, like, of late on YouTube, there are a lot of people creating a lot of educational content on YouTube. And while that's great that people are able to reach more people and teach more things, but I also want to show that how easy it is using this immense distribution channel to do something that at the most harmless side of the spectrum would just waste somebody's time, but at the most harmful side of the spectrum actually teach something that is very wrong. And I think the most dangerous thing is content like this, which I made here. It's made by somebody who is credible like me, and somebody who would be coming and, okay, it's co-founder of Coding Blocks, might be saying something really good, and then the content inside is not exactly wrong, or it's not completely factually incorrect. So it has got a lot of factually correct parts, and then some optimizations and some over engineering, which by doing which you might actually not reach an optimal solution, and it kind of defeats the purpose. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you guys. And as you can see, I mean, the numbers speak a lot. It has gotten 4,000 plus likes. The like to dislike ratio is pretty awesome. More than 90% obviously likes in that, less than 400 dislikes on that, which obviously says that people like the video. So whatever is the nature of the content inside it probably did not matter. And now if you go and look at the comments, so the comments are kind of like a circus. Okay, so I think 90% of the most popular comments are people telling me that I look like Arijit Singh. So thank you so much for that. Very pointless. The other most, so there is at least one comment in the top comments which actually talks about how this video is not correct, by Kifayat, who says that great coder is somebody who reads simple readable code, and I completely agree with him actually, right? And this video is completely wrong. It's a scam that I ran on you guys, and I will talk to you about what the scam is. Okay, but you just look at the kind of engagement that this video has drawn. This has got like 22 replies, and I think after a few replies here, this has gone down into people like having a very personal name calling each other. I don't know if these people are even actually professional developers or they are just students. They're telling each other that I won't hire you in my company if you write code like this, and stuff like that, and calling each other stupid, and I don't know. And obviously there's like a lot of comments like Rahul, who I know personally, like people who have thought that this is really informationally, like the information is really good, who have appreciated the content because they felt like they did not know this. Okay, and there was like a few comments by some really good coders who have actually kind of pointed out that this is not the correct solution, and those don't even I don't know. So Sir B Donkey has said that at 340, the complexity of doing iModulo 15 is pretty much the same as 5 and 3. It's plain stupidly wrong statement. Again, correct. Like at a CPU level, it happens in a different way. So there's a lot of things that is wrong in my video, and I'm gonna be reviewing that. But before that, let me just show the kind of impact that this video had. So this is like analytics for our channel. This is like our total subscribers, and we like get what like 60-70 subscribers every day, and we got 1,000 subscribers the day this video came out. And obviously the number of subscribers has been pretty high, so our channel has been growing. We have been getting subscribers, great. And the contribution of this particular video to it is obviously significantly high. Obviously there is one more video which also had a little bit of contributions, this JavaScript video, but mostly it has been this video which contributed to this huge churn in our subscriber numbers, which again is great. Like if you think of somebody who is a YouTuber and who makes a video like this, and that video actually drives their channel metrics high, they would love to make more and more content exactly like this, right? And if you look at the analytics of this video, so it's keep on going continuously up. It's kind of starting to flatten here. So like the views, it's starting to flatten here a bit now, and new views are not coming anymore, and that's why I'm making this video. I think the social experiment, I can kind of think it is over. Okay, and if I just kind of compare that to like other content that I made around the same time, right? So this is a video. This is a very good video that I made on JavaScript event loop questions, and this obviously got like only 14,000 views, but that's also because it's JavaScript and a lot of people are interested in C++ or Java kind of questions. This is another question which was on recursion that I made, and again this was a good video. This is factually correct video. This contains actual information, and I released this video, the recursion question, and this one on the same date actually. Okay, and as you can see, this has gotten 500,000 impressions only, 34,000 views, which is not bad. Of course, that's quite more than what our channel usually gets. But this video, obviously, you see the suggested videos, 50% of its views have come from that bad video. Okay, so when I released like a good and a bad video together, the reason that the good video worked is because people watched the bad video and then they were recommended the good one. So if I see metrics like this, I am encouraged to create a shit video so that I can promote a good video along with that. That's another effect that something like this happens. And by the way, like already 2 weeks back, right, I had made a post on LinkedIn. Now I know that my LinkedIn audience and Coding Blocks' YouTube audience, like if you draw a Venn diagram, it's not going to be like the same set of people, but there's going to be a lot of overlap, I believe. And I wrote that I made a clickbait video with simple coding problems, sensationalized, over-engineered, and trash-looking thumbnail, recipe for success. And it is about to be my fastest 100K video, and it became the fastest 100K video on the Coding Blocks channel. And like I had promised, I will make a video exposing the video. Like so I will be covering a couple of things today. If you have watched the video, you have wasted 11 minutes of your life on something that was a social experiment, which was a scam, and I'm at least telling you it's a scam. A lot of people are making content like this, and they kind of believe in that content itself, right? And they find like people are coming and watching that kind of content, so you're wasting a lot of time on that content as well. But let me break down the anatomy of the content, and let me also talk about what kind of effect it has, and also like as somebody who is going to learn things on YouTube, how can you identify good content and good educators, and how can you stay aware and not fall into traps like this. Okay, so we'll talk about all of that. Obviously we will start off with the fact that my god, this thumbnail, I literally like shot especially weird looking photos to put on a thumbnail. At Coding Blocks internally, like we have this mail thread called Tutty Thumbnails, where we exchange those thumbnails which are like really trash looking, so that we can put them on the videos. And the worse the thumbnail is, the more views we get. That's a metric we have seen over the last few years. So you make a professional looking, nice looking thumbnail and nobody's gonna watch it. You make a very trash thumbnail which looks ridiculous, it gets a lot of views. I think it starts from there. It starts from having a very ridiculous thumbnail. Okay. Next, I will actually break down the video. I will take a couple of minutes and break down the video. I really do not have as much time as you guys have to waste on shit like this. So I will utilize that time to eat my dinner as well while I review my own video. And then I will actually get to the FizzBuzz problem and tell you some more correct technical things this time around and why my solution was wrong. So we'll discuss that, and then we will discuss how can you be aware of such kind of content. Okay. Oh, just hold on one more thing before we proceed. Actually, I want to show you another statistics. So this video, at the end of this video, the next video that is generally suggested is this my another video where I talked about my failed interview experiences at Google, Gojek, Qualcomm, and some other companies. And interestingly, like the kind of effect such a video has on the channel, and why somebody would just want to make more such videos is that this failed interview experience was actually a great video that I think I made. It's something that a lot of people can learn from about failed interviews, and people who have not cleared a good interview, they might see that video and think that okay, there's nothing to be discouraged of. And if you look at the kind of analytics for this video, which is my failed interviews, so that when I had released this video, it kind of stagnated at I think 20 to 23,000 views. It was there at 23,000 for a long time. And then I released this this trash yellow colored for loop video, and then I reached like 60,000 from 26,000, like 25,000. So I kind of more than doubled the views of some previously good content that had saturated at 25,000. Now that content is also improving, so like I can just keep on creating more and more trash content, and my older content will actually kind of start getting views. So it's a very nice scheme that I can just do. And as you can see again in the last few days, a lot of this traffic has been coming from the bad coder versus good coder versus great coder video. Okay, so let's dive into the video, and I'm starting it from the 2.5 mark, because before that I was just explaining what FizzBuzz is, right? And the interesting part is, I think, because the title of the video is in English, and I did start off with English, but then there's a lot of Hindi between. There's so many comments about which language is this video in. I think like if you scroll down, there's a bunch of questions on like whether it's in English or whether it's in Hindi. So anyway, let's just check this out. Okay. I think a lot of people start with writing like if I modulo 15 equal to 0, then print ln they do FizzBuzz, and then उसके बाद यहाँ पे else if करके लिखते हैं else if I modulo 5 equal to 0, so in that case print ln we will do buzz, and then same चीज अगर वो 3 से divisible हुआ तो fizz, और finally एकदम ऐसा वाला केस है वहाँ पे जाके हम करते हैं print ln the number itself. ठीक है, so if I do this thing and the result that I see कि 1 2 फिर fizz आ गया, फिर 4 फिर buzz 5 and then 15 के जगह fizz buzz आ गया, and this seems like the right answer. ठीक है, the only thing with the solution is कि हम computers I modulo 15 को कैसे करते हैं. ठीक है, तो computers do I modulo 15 pretty much similar as the complexity of doing I modulo 15 for the computer would be pretty similar as doing I modulo 5 equal to 0, and then I modulo 3 equal to 0. So here's the thing. In the video, I said that the way computers do I modulo 15 is basically the same as the writing I modulo 5 and I modulo 3. Now that is not entirely correct. So mathematically speaking, they are the same thing. Though computers, if you write I modulo 5 and an I modulo 3, then the modulo 5 operation happens at the CPU level separately, and the modulo 3 happens at the CPU level separately, and the ANDing operation happens in the user land. While I modulo 15, at the hardware level, at the CPU level, it's the logic level, it will do this thing, modeling bit 5 and 3. So depending on what language you're using, what processor you're using, what operating system you're using, what compiler you're using, I modulo 5 and an I modulo 3 and I modulo 15, these two things may or may not be the same. And these days, with most modern programming languages and the kind of CPUs that you're working with, they're not actually the same. But what happens is that when somebody like me makes a video like this and says that by the way, you did I modulo 15, that's equal to doing I modulo 5 and 3, and a lot of you people, you just kind of shut down your brain and think like, oh my god, that's right, we should do it like that, right? So that's not completely true. And I think in the comments below in this video, there is just maybe one person who has actually commented that out, that not a lot of people have actually gone and put their done some thinking or done some digging around this part. But let's proceed. This thing, 3 and 5 prime numbers, which the multiple of which is 15, those case में लोग इस तरह से I modulo 5 equal to 0 ये अगर करें, तो computers के लिए जो complexity had to figure out कि 15 से कोई difference है कि नहीं, 5 से और 3 से अगर करके check करने के बराबर ही होता है. Now in this case, if you understand, there are a lot of numbers जो कि 5 से modulo और 3 से modulo 1 से ज़्यादा होंगे, क्योंकि इस step में जो numbers 2 आ गए वो तो ठीक है, but जो numbers false आ गए वो 5 से modulo दोबारा करी जाएगी उसी number को. ठीक है, तो हम ये operation दो बार जो कर रहे हैं, that can actually be improved upon, and some people जो अपने FizzBuzz के solution में उससे थोड़ा सा better solution लिखते हैं. तो कुछ लोग क्या करते हैं, और ये बहुत कम लोग करते हैं, in fact मैंने देखा है, तो वो कर लेते हैं कि अगर इस तरह से लिखें कि if I modulo 3 अगर 0 हो गया तो हम प्रिंट करेंगे, प्रिंट एलिफ नहीं करेंगे, हम प्रिंट करेंगे फिक्स. ठीक है, और if I modulo 5 हो गया तो हम प्रिंट करेंगे बस. तो So with this kind of a solution, also another thing is that not all programming languages might allow you to print without doing a new line separately, like C++ does with print, with maybe Kotlin or even Java does, but not necessarily every language can do that. So I mean, like, doing this does not really actually improve anything, to be honest. Okay, but let's just go ahead and see what else we have discussed here. Okay, and and I think I'll just continue eating my dimsums because I don't want to waste my time watching this video that you all have been wasting watching this video anyway, right? कौन सा रहेगा ये अभी भी, तो उस केस में हम क्या करेंगे, प्रिंट करेंगे, ठीक है, या एक और तरीके से हम कर सकते हैं कि डाटा इक्वल टू एम्प्टी स्ट्रिंग, और हम यहाँ पे कर सकते हैं कि डाटा प्लस इक्वल टू फिज, एंड यहाँ पे कर सकते हैं डाटा also डाटा इज डी कर देते हैं, तो डी प्लस इक्वल टू बस, एंड फिर इफ डी इक्वल टू एम्प्टी स्ट्रिंग, अगर ये डी इक्वल टू एम्प्टी स्ट्रिंग रहेगा, ठीक है, तो उस केस में हम प्रिंट लगाएंगे, एल्स हम प्रिंट डी को करेंगे, ठीक है. The process of doing d plus equal to fizz and d plus equal to buzz in language like something like Java, where strings are not mutable, that is, like, both memory and performance wise not a smart thing to do. You should probably use something like a string builder. But I mean, if you had to do string appending in the first place, right, or you can use a character array or something like that. But in the garb of trying to improve performance, what we're doing with this d plus equal to thing, it's actually decreasing performance. Again, in fact, very few people in the comments have actually pointed out that appending strings is probably going to cause a worse performance, or whatever performance gain we get out of not doing the modulo twice, we're going to lose it by this. Okay. So again, we will get the same result, but now on every number we are operating I modulo 3, I modulo 5 only once. We are not doing that operation twice. Okay. Obviously it is coming at a little bit of memory cost, but we are saving the modulo cost. So some people do it this way as well. तो एक तरह से heavy होता है, ठीक है, और वो modulo operation को बनाते हैं. Now सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग चीज जो है वो यहाँ पे ये है कि हम इस पूरे प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर सकते हैं without using the modulo operator, और उसकी खासियत ये होगी, ये modulo operator होता है वो बहुत कॉस्टली ऑपरेटर होता है कंपेयर टू प्लस माइनस मल्टीप्लाई डिवाइड modulo करके सारे ऑपरेटर्स की बात करें, तो the complexity of the plus and minus operators वो O(m) में होता है. The statement here that the modulo operator is more costly than the plus operator is true, but that is not what is contributing to the cost of this program. What really is contributing to the cost of this program is actually printing. That's the most highest cost in this entire program. So the time that takes to print something to the console is usually 10 to 100 times more than what it is to modulo numbers up to even 10 to the power 9, right? So modulo is not really what is causing the performance issues in this project as of now. Okay, but then I said that और जो मल्टीप्लाई डिवाइड मोडुलो ऑपरेटर्स होते हैं वो n स्क्वायर की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी होती है, गिवन दैट n इज द साइज ऑफ द नंबर. तो अगर मोडुलो ना यूज करना चाहे तो उसका भी एक तरीका एग्जिस्ट करता है, ठीक है, और जो लोग वो सॉल्यूशन करते हैं वो कम लोग करते हैं, मैंने आज तक दिया है कि क्वेश्चन कई लोग करने के लिए, वेरी फ्यू पीपल एक्चुअली डू द सॉल्यूशन विदाउट द मोडुलो, बट दैट्स अ वेरी गुड सॉल्यूशन बिकॉज़ एज द नंबर्स कीप इंक्रीजिंग इन साइज वो मोडुलो नहीं करना पड़ता है बार-बार, एंड दैट. So I say that I have given people this problem to do in interviews, and that is not entirely true. So I give that at coding blocks while I'm teaching people, and I'm just having fun with them for the interview preparation. I do that, but in real interviews, generally, this kind of problem is not really needed to be given unless you are hiring for interns or very junior level, where you just want to check if they just know how to code or not. Okay, and people whom I have given this solution to do, people who come up with a counter-based solution, I obviously don't give them any extra weightage compared to people who come up with a modulo-based solution. It's as simple as that. Okay. Solution is somewhat like this. हम लेंगे यहाँ पे but हम लेंगे count 3 equal to 0 and हम लेंगे but count 5 equal to 0 इस तरह से, और हम क्या करेंगे, पहले C++ करेंगे, C3 को प्लस करेंगे, और फिर हम क्या करेंगे, C5 को भी प्लस करेंगे, ठीक है. If C3 जो है वो equal to 3 हो गया है, तो हम again the same thing we will print, so we will do here the same thing, var d var के कर देते हैं, तो हम क्या करेंगे, d plus equal to. By the way, we technically really did want to get to the maximum performance. Doing plus plus C3 is faster than doing C3 plus plus, at least in C++. Okay, pre-increment is faster than post-increment. By the way, if really this was the objective. Although I think if somebody during the interview, just for a hypothetical scenario, says that don't use modulo, can we write this solution without using modulo just as a artificial constraint, just to see whether you can or not, that is a possible case. People can in FizzBuzz interviews ask you to achieve it without modulo, right? That's a different scenario. They are not saying solve FizzBuzz the best way. They are actually artificially telling you that solve FizzBuzz without using mod loop. In that case, if somebody is not able to come up with a counter solution, that's a bad thing. That definitely is there. But that's not the case here. I said that, just if somebody tells you to do FizzBuzz and you don't come up with a counter solution, you are not a great coder. That is not true.
If और साथ में हम C3 को रीसेट करेंगे, C3 इक्वल टू 0। अगर C5 की वैल्यू 5 हो गई है तो हम क्या करेंगे, D को प्लस इक्वल टू बस कर देंगे और C5 इक्वल टू 0 कर देंगे, ठीक है। और फाइनली यहाँ पे जो कोड मैंने लिखा था वही सेम, इफ जो है D, तो हम यहाँ पे करेंगे D इक्वल टू अगर हमारा एंटी के बराबर आ रहा है, ठीक है, तो फिर हम प्रिंट करेंगे I को, और अगर हम हमारे बराबर नहीं आया तो else।
Let's
साइज बढ़िया राइटिंग कोड फॉर ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम एकदम लो लेवल हार्डवेयर पे चल रहा है कि मॉडल वाली कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी को भी आप हटा सको तो आपको एक्चुअली प्रोडक्शन में कुछ फायदा हो। फ्रॉम डेवलपर पर्सपेक्टिव पता नहीं करता।
So my Dimsums have also ended, and my main part of the video has ended, where most of the bullshit I had uttered. Rest of it is just some gyan about why performance is important and everything. But at the end of the day, this solution finally that has been created here, it really does not look like cleanly written code, nicely written code, and obviously it's not scalable if there are more conditions that come in, like if somebody has to add 7 and 9 and 11 or something like that. Not 9 is not prime, 7 and 11 stuff like that. It obviously would not look nice, right? Like the kind of code that we are writing here. Okay, so that's the whole point. I mean, this video does not really tell you what is the best solution to FizzBuzz is, and I don't think there is a best solution to FizzBuzz. FizzBuzz is just done to check. And in fact, like in this video, if I had covered what kind of mistakes people do with FizzBuzz, that would have been kind of more useful for anybody. The mistakes that people do is generally people check for divide by 3 first, and then by 5, and then by 15, and in that cases the 15 conditions are not matched because it falls inside the 3 case already. So you have to check the 15 first, and then you have to check 3 and 5, and not the other way around. So many people do mistakes of that type, which is what the FizzBuzz test is out there to catch. That can you just arrange 3 if conditions in a for loop, and do you have, like, are you in touch with coding? Okay, so sometimes this is used when you're hiring kind of engineering leader kind of positions, and you just want to make sure that this person is not just bluffing his way, he knows actually how to code, or it is used in very entry level positions to just kind of check that that person has actually coded and their resume is not just fluff. Okay, rest of the video I think so that part I did explain at the end of the video, but as far as I've seen the stats of the video, I don't think a lot of people actually saw the end part of the video where I did explain the mistakes that people do while doing FizzBuzz. Okay, so that's my review of my own video. Okay, so let's actually get down back into the code of the FizzBuzz operation, and I have written it in C++. It's not my natural language. I write mostly code in Java, JavaScript, TypeScript, and Kotlin. C++ is something I haven't used for a lot of time, so pardon me if there is some problem in the code, and that's one of the things that you should take care of. Like, you should not learn competitive coding kind of stuff from a person like me, right? But anyway, why I've used C++ because it is close to the system, and the time measurements would be more accurate. So I've used time.h to kind of get a start time and an end time, and kind of find out the amount of time it takes in seconds to run this program. So let's take this version of the program where we have done modulo 15, and then modulo 3, and then modulo 5. Okay, and let's just kind of compile this, right? And then let's do it for 10,000 numbers. Okay, so if I do it for 10,000 numbers, it takes 0.12 seconds. If I do it like a bunch of more times, it takes 0.11 kind of seconds, like that. Now the interesting thing is that if I just kind of go to this path from a different terminal, okay, does it kind of take a different amount of time on a different terminal? You should also check that, whether it's like a console level issue. But yeah, I think it's taking 0.12 is kind of the time that it takes to do it using modulo 15. Now if I'll just write that down for a while, perf.txt, I will just write that down. So for modulo 15 case, it's taking 0.01 1 to 0.01 0.012. That's the kind of time it takes. Okay, so you should actually go and measure the time without making such arguments on the air like I did. That's the most important part. I don't think a lot of people who watched that video actually went ahead and actually tried to compare that time. They just went and, oh, nice video, clap, clap, clap. We did not think about, okay, modulo and all that stuff. So don't do that. Actually, you should go and investigate really what you learned in the video can be actually applied or not. Let's try to use the other version where we are using so let's remove this for loop, and instead of that, let's use the other one, which is the counter one. Okay, so this is the one where I have a int c3 and a c5, and I kind of add the values there. So if I do this one, and I compile that, and I do like 10,000, I print with that. So it's again taking like 0.012 to 0.013 is, as 0.011 is also coming. So in fact, if I do it with counters, okay, so C3, C5 is also taking 0.012 to 0.013. It's kind of coming out to be the similar amount of time. So there's no performance benefit really that I got out of it. Okay, and by the way, I should also mention that if I do the the one where I do I modulo 15, instead of that, if I do I modulo 5 equal to 0, and I modulo 3 equal to 0. So if I do it this way, right, like we discussed, and see, again, no difference, right? It's coming out to be the same exactly, right? So now the thing is, the reason why we are not seeing any difference actually is because the majority of the time gets into cout. So doing cout is what actually takes the time, or printf, or whatever you use to print to the console. Console printing is a much more time consuming operation than doing modulo or doing counter plus plus. Okay, so let's do something else. Let's actually not print. Okay, so let us simply just kind of okay, so I've actually not done the printing, but the if conditions are still running. Okay, so if by the way, there are some there are some compilers which can actually remove this if condition if there is no body. So you can do an interesting thing you can do is let's just say we do this thing, instead of the cout thing that we are doing there, let's simply do d equal to sorry, so let's just do d equal to FizzBuzz, and we will just do I need to put semicolons. That's the reason why I don't use C++. And this will be fizz and this will be buzz. So I'm just assigning the values, but I'm not printing it. Okay. So let's just try that out and see if there is actually a performance difference in that case as well. So first of all, so this is using the modulo, but without the cout. And as you can see, the time drops down to 0.00015. Okay. So we get to without print, this case becomes 0.00015. Okay, as you can see, it obviously makes it 100 times faster just if we remove the printing conditions. The string assigning operation is still there. Okay, now let me just replace that with the counter one. So here we would really get to know if the counter actually changes performance for us at all or not. Okay, so if I do the toCounter method here, okay, and if I just use this one, so here instead of doing the So let me just comment this line out. So I am gonna do the d plus operation here, okay, but I'm not gonna do the cout operation here, right? So let me just remove that out, and in fact I'll just do is if d equal to empty string, so I will do d equal to I, okay, and else I will not do anything, okay. So let's just do this, okay. So this will remove the cout operations, but the other operations will remain. This endl operation also I'll just remove from here, and let's see where do we get with this. So 0.0004 is where we are getting. So C++ and this is C3 and C5 without the print, and we are getting to around 0.0003. Okay, this is actually more than doing the modulo operation. Okay, let us also do is let's do the modulo one with 15 directly. We had done with 3 and 5 separately, but if I do with 15, in that case, where do I get? So that also we should do once, right? Cool. So remaining exactly same 0.00014. So whether we do it with 5 and 3, or whether we do it with with 15 separately, it is not causing us a problem there, okay. Is exactly the same thing is happening in that case, okay. If you do the else if kind of conditions there. Now finally we had this operation where we were doing it with 3 and 5 and just doing plus. So if I just kind of remove this thing, and if I modulo 3 equal to 0, I do d string d. So I do basically first I do d equal to empty string, and then I do d plus equal to fizz, and then I do d plus equal to buzz, right? And then if if d equal to empty string, right, in that case I do d equal to I, and else I create an empty bracket here, okay. So this is the condition where I'm not doing modulo with 3 or 5 over and over again. Instead I'm just doing with 3 once and with 5 once, and I'm doing plus with the fizz. So whether string appending is more costly, or whether like removing one modulo is more costly, we'll get to know in this case, okay. So this is actually costlier, okay. String appending is kind of costlier, okay. So this is and this is the comma case. So only 3 and 5 we are doing. This is coming out to be 0.004. Okay. So as you can see, like doing string appending actually is a costlier thing to do. Okay. But what if we don't have the string appending happening at all? Okay. So what if we had something else happening? Okay. So what if we had the counter example, but with without the string appending happening? Okay. So let's go there again. Let's take a look at that. Correct. So okay, so not do this. I'll do is if rather than this, what I will do is if C3 equal to 0 and C5 equal to 0, okay, in that case I will do d equal to FizzBuzz, okay, and then I will do the else ifs. So else if C3 equal to 0, then d equal to fizz, and else if C5 equal to 0, then d equal to buzz. So I'm not doing string appending here, but I'm still creating the strings, I'm just not printing them. And finally else what I do is d equal to I, okay. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So this is using the counters, but not doing string appending in this case. So how about this case? So this is kind of good. Okay, so actually removing modulo and doing plus plus operators does make it faster. Okay, so I was not entirely wrong, but the thing is that when you're answering this question, okay, so if I do C3 C5 without string plus plus, in that case I'm getting 0.00006 is kind of the value that I'm 7 I'm getting 69, nice value that I've gotten here. Okay, so doing counters instead of modulo is faster. That is definitely true. By the way, if I do plus plus C3, do I get even faster? Let's check that out as well. Okay, that does not make a difference. Doing plus plus C3 does not really make a difference. Something that can make a difference is using 3-pass optimization when you're compiling a program. So if you do a 3-pass optimization here, you get 0.0002. So this with the O3 flag, okay, it will remove redundant code and create short circuits in your code. Stuff I don't want to explain in this video. It will be really hi-fi stuff for now. For here, I have actually covered content like what O3 does with tail call recursion, and there is content like that on our channel. It's just that something just too much work for most people's brains, and people don't watch that, and that's fine. People who are really interested in stuff like that, they will do that anyway. Okay, with O3. So if you're really into optimizations, there is a lot of optimizations that you can do. In fact, if I do this O3 optimizations with the first condition that we had, okay, so if I just kind of go back to the modulo operations, right, we had this one. Okay, but without the printing again, right? So this is the modulo one, and if I just do d equal to FizzBuzz, okay, and if I do d equal to fizz here, and if I do d equal to buzz here, and if I do d equal to I here, right? So this one takes with O3, it's much better actually, 0.00008. Okay, so it's gonna take this exact same one, without the strings, right? This one. So this with O of 3-pass optimizations, we can get 0.7. That's what we are able to hit. Okay, so there's a lot of performance optimizations that you can actually do. They are going to be very specific to the languages that you're using. So the O3 performance optimization is something that you can't achieve with something like Java or Kotlin, but these kind of things can exist. Okay, so what really is the FizzBuzz question to test? So the FizzBuzz question is there to test people who do stuff like this. So somebody can do 3, maybe to do 5 first, and then they do 3, and then they do 15. Okay, and if they do that, right, and if they write kind of buzz here and FizzBuzz here, okay, so what will really happen in this case is that so I think the kind of the numbers are not getting I don't know if I think you have to convert it to, I think, A to I or something like that. I to A, I don't know. I to A, is there I to A function? I don't know. I don't know how to convert numbers to strings in C++, honestly, and that's the reason why you should not watch C++ videos written by me, C++ videos created by me. Okay, anyway, check that. Okay, so or whatever it is, I in string form, it will come there. Forget that. But or else I'll just do whatever. Else So I'll just see out I. Okay. Um, Anyway, the my point being is that if I do this one, as you can see, there is no FizzBuzz here. Okay, so FizzBuzz is not printed correctly. So the reason that happens is because if you divide by 5 first and by 15 later on, so the 15 cases are never matched. Okay, so people who do mistakes like this, the FizzBuzz question is there to identify people like that. The FizzBuzz question is not there to really identify whether you can go from here to here. But of course, if you can do that, okay, and if it's really kind of a embedded systems interview where those kind of optimizations are asked to you, that's an entirely different ball game, and I'm sure you're not going to be watching the kind of videos that you're watching right now here. Okay. Okay, so I don't know how many people are still watching up to this point. It's like the last segment of the video, and the reason I am doing this is for a very important reason. I just want to take a moment here, and people who have followed my videos on YouTube or any content that I've produced anywhere, I do like create a lot of comedy and troll material on LinkedIn. Also, people have followed, but I never ask people to like or share or subscribe anything. I would take an exception today and ask you that if possible to make others aware of how content like this can affect people. Maybe if you think so, if you think it's worth it for others to be aware of it, please help spread this. I really wish that this video at least reaches more people than the original troll video. I'm not going to be pulling that one down. I am obviously going to be linking this video to that video, obviously, so that people who have kind of been scammed by that video can come and watch this video as well. And so about scamming, it's the thing is that I know a lot of people who might read a blog post about exactly the kind of content that I made in that video, that using plus plus is better than using modulo, and they might come up with a video like with a lot of honest intent. They can actually create that same video that I made, and they can in all seriousness put that up, and people would actually go and watch that video, and they would think that okay, they're learning something important. And it's not like you learned. So it's very different from disinformation or fake news, and it's not on your face very harmful, but it obviously kind of does not help create good coders or good developers, because people who are obviously interested in kind of things like that, right, trying to do modulo operation 2 plus plus while not understanding that the actual cost is of the print operation. And so people who are in my who have ever studied web development from me, and if anybody has, I would really kind of request you to kind of validate what I'm saying in the comments if possible. Is that I have told you in class, right, when I have taught the FizzBuzz question on the BOM and browser object model, I've shown that the cost of printing things to the browser, editing HTML, is far more costly than the kind of optimizations that you can achieve out of modulo versus plus plus. So focus on the real bottlenecks of your problem rather than trying to be some code chef whiz kid when trying to get these stupid performance gains, like from 0.01 to 0.02 kind of performance gains out of needless things. These don't either matter in interviews or they don't matter in real life. And these kind of little performance gains where they really matter in embedded systems, in operating systems, in kernels. If you are actually in a place where these kind of things matter, then obviously you are not the kind of people who are probably watching this video, right? You are probably way smarter than even I am, and you are doing really awesome stuff. I know people who are working at Qualcomm and Intel and working on really low level systems, and they are obviously not watching how to do for loops on YouTube, right? So this kind of content is gonna be watched mostly by people who are just starting to program, and I would say there are two things that you should do. One is please do your research on the person who is creating the content and understand if they have the credibility to be able to create that content. So I'm not somebody who teaches data structures, algorithms, or C++ or time complexity and these kind of topics at coding blocks when I was teaching at coding blocks. So I'm not a teacher at coding blocks anymore. I'm part of the community and YouTube right now. but when I was teaching, I used to teach Android and web development, and I was never into these kind of things. So, and then if you go ahead and look at my GitHub or my entire resume, like whatever I have done in life, I've made apps, I've made websites, I have built products, done product management, and this is obviously not my forte. So it's kind of stupid to expect me to create content on performance optimizations on for loops is in the first place. Right. The second thing is obviously when you find such content and you feel like that content is really adding value, you should do your own due diligence behind it. You should try and run that program and try to find out the start time and end time yourself and see if really there is a difference, right? And finally, don't like bicker on the comments about whose code is better and what kind of person is hired in a company and whether performance matters or readability matters. Instead of doing that bullshit, be one of those people who have actually replied in the comments with some really important points. Some people have mentioned how modulo 5 and modulo 3 versus modulo 15 are the same thing or not the same thing. Somebody has written something like that. Obviously they have done their research, they have seen that okay, CPU code versus user level code, whether like the microcode in the CPU is doing the and operation, or whether at a user land level you're doing the and operation, whether they are same or whether they're different. Okay, there are people who have mentioned that writing the kind of code with the plus plus operator, the way I have written, it's not scalable, and tomorrow if there are new conditions that come, if there are tests to be written for the system, they can't be written. Somebody has written that if it was not a sequence of numbers, if it was a random set of numbers, then the plus plus operator would not work. There are really smart people who have written such comments. I've read a lot of those comments. There are 400 comments under that video, and unfortunately the most popular comments are the most useless ones. Like me looking like Arijit Singh. Okay, I get that, that's the joke, but about whether whether interviewers should ask this question, whether interviewers should not ask this question, if this was a great content, and all of that stuff. Okay, so don't fanboy after me or after anybody on the comments of any YouTuber or any educator. Don't do that. Use your brain. The God has gifted you with one. Probably you can use it a few times. Okay, and understand that not anybody and everybody who is creating content on YouTube, educational content, might necessarily two things: either knows what they're really creating, and secondly might not even have the right intentions. Because these days creating content on YouTube is a lot about gaining your 50,000 followers, and once you gain 50,000 followers, then there are online edtech companies which would give you 5,000, 10,000 rupees per video to add a link to their course below that. And we have done advertisements via creators at coding blogs as well. When I don't know if we do that anymore, I don't look out of the business, but when I was looking out of the business, we did that. Okay, so that's how the system works. There are a lot of influencers, like even travel influencers or something like that, and we do advertisements. That's how marketing works, right? So becoming an influencer and getting an audience and kind of getting a platform to do marketing to people and actually teaching people are very different things. So it's important to understand the difference there. And it's also important to keep in mind that just because there is a huge platform and anybody can reach anybody, does not mean everybody who is creating educational content is necessarily creating great content. And the worst thing is obviously and this is, I don't think can change, is like you look at a very trash looking thumbnail, you go and watch that video. That's basic human instinct, we can't change that. And as a result of that, I make trash thumbnails for all the YouTube videos I make, because that's the way views are going to be coming. If the user behavior changes, if people actually start seeing serious thumbnails and watch open those videos more than the trash ones, I will make serious thumbnails. Okay, and if cracking a few jokes in the video increases the viewership rate, I will do that. Okay, so that's how creators are going to be growing. So whatever works in the audience. As an audience, you have to be smart. You have to obviously discern which kind of content to watch, which kind of content not to watch. I did not want to go after any particular other person's content and point out errors. I just wanted to just run this experiment, show that I can scam you guys so easily, right, and expose my own scam, because then there's no backlash. Nobody's gonna come after me behind that. So I don't really care if people come after me, but then I don't want people to come after coding blocks. It's a business, and there are people whose salaries are coming from coding blocks, right? I don't want people to just attack coding blocks unnecessarily, and that's the reason why I did this experiment myself, and then I'm exposing myself. So the people who actually watched that video and thought that is some really interesting and new content, and then they thought that that's a way to optimize programs, I'm sorry to them. And that's the reason why I'm saying, please like, share, and subscribe this video, so that at least this reaches as much as the audience as that video reached, so that anybody who has watched that video at least also sees this video and knows that it was not correct. Okay. And you can say that I can obviously pull that video down, but no, I want that video to be up, and I want this video to be up, so that people know how this system works, and people can get more aware. So thank you so much. I will end this video here. I think it's already been a pretty long video. If you have any thoughts, any views, feel free to comment that obviously here underneath that video, or if you want to reach out to me on LinkedIn or on Twitter, you can DM me on other platforms, and I would love to engage with you and talk to you about this. Whether or not you felt this social experiment was a good idea or whether it was a bad idea, please feel free to share your comments. Okay. And it's important that as more creators grow, as more content increases, and as the number of people who learn on this platform increases, we should be aware of a better way to learn, and we should be aware how to discern between good content and bad content, and which information to consume and which not to consume. Okay. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for tolerating me, my social experiment, and my this expose. Okay. So have a nice day, all of you guys, and bye bye.